What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sterling from ENT. Finally, welcome back to ENT Fantasy Football. We're here.
Welcome back. We're doing 24 through 13, way too early wide receiver rankings.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
way too early, by the way.
Way too early.
We're going to come with our official wide receiver rankings closer to the season.
Absolutely.
Closer to the season, but for now, this is our way too early rankings after the draft, after free agency. But without further ado, let's get right into it. We're doing it a little bit different this time. Last time we had our consensus rankings. This time we all each have our own individual lists that we're going to be going over.
Yes.
So, also, this is 24 through 13.
Yes.
So, we're going to have another part where we do 12 through number 1. So, this is all the wide receiver 2s.
We'll do this way first, and then
Okay,
we'll work our way back.
All right. So, Cameron, who is your number 24 wide receiver?
I have Brandon Cooks at number 24. And
Okay.
I like that.
and he's a very good deep threat. He has the ability to just give you those games where you look at your phone and you see, oh, Brandon Cooks got like 30 points.
Yeah, it's
Brandon
true.
Cooks got like
2
40 points.
touchdowns,
Yeah.
100
Yes.
For
and
no
something
reason, bro.
yards.
They'll
Yeah,
lose
for
by
no
like 20
reason.
points.
Yeah, for no
Yeah.
reason. The only thing that holds him back though is just the team around him. I mean,
Well, I would say that helps him because there's
but,
nobody.
yeah, you can make that argument
Brandon
too.
Cooks has the ability to where he can just spread his wings, be himself. There's nobody who's going to take the
Nobody.
ball out of his hands.
That
He's
is
the
true.
undisputed number 1 player on the offense.
You
know?
can make that argument, but having an elite level quarterback
Yes.
does help you. And
That is true.
And I also have Brandon Cooks at number 24, spoiler alert.
Okay.
Like Sterling was saying, it's sort of like there's nobody that's going to take the ball out of his hands on the Titans offense. Brandon Cooks, like Cameron was saying, he has those games where they'll lose by 20, but he'll have like 30 points.
Yeah.
So my
Yeah.
number 24 is Cortland Sutton. So you guys had Brandon Cooks. Cooks would probably fall like 26, 25 on my list. I have Cortland Sutton right
Okay.
here.
That's why I have
He's
Cortland
finally
Sutton.
getting a good quarterback on his team. Cortland Sutton, we know he's a very talented player. We've seen him be productive before. Now he has a great quarterback. His team's going to be very good this year. And so Cortland Sutton, I think he's back into fantasy, being really good for fantasy.
Gotcha.
You know, I had Cortland Sutton at number 5. It was kind of a choice.
Number 5?
Number 5?
Not number 5, 25.
Okay,
excuse
25.
me.
Okay,
25.
alright.
So I was either thinking of Elijah Moore or Cortland Sutton fitting into that number 24 spot. I felt Brandon Cooks a little bit more than Cortland Sutton because I had Cortland Sutton last year.
Yeah.
And there'd be weeks where he'd just completely and utterly disappoint you.
Yeah.
He'd have 1 target. He'd
Yeah.
have 2 targets.
I mean, we had a couple editions of the Denver Broncos wide receiver dumpster fire.
It is true,
on
bro.
fantasy. Yeah.
It's something that did happen. Will Russell
That's,
Wilson make a difference? I'm sure he will. We need more production from Cortland Sutton before I throw him into my top 24. We'll start with me at 23.
23, yeah.
So I have one Chris Godwin.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if you guys know about this, but he is dealing with an ACL injury.
Yes, that does not help.
That's something that is worth saying. So with Chris Godwin, we know that he is just a target monster and that he has great hands, bro.
Yes.
He's a great receiver when it comes to he's possession catching. Like
Yeah.
he's just that guy when it comes to that. No, I probably would have realistically had him more towards like 16, 17, 18 in that range. But just because of his injury, it makes it a little bit harder for me to want to put him higher. Considering that we don't know exactly when he's going to come back or how exactly he's going to do coming off of a major injury like that.
My number 23 is DJ Moore. So DJ Moore, this is around where he was last season, coming into the season, around a low-end wide receiver 2. And I think he's going to continue to stay around that range coming into this season. We know how talented of a player DJ Moore is. Unfortunately, the quarterback problem still has not been resolved.
Right.
So that's what's holding him back. But DJ Moore, a low-end wide receiver 2 at number 23, that's where I have him.
The
He should
quarterback
end
play
up.
really does hurt him.
Yeah. Yeah, I had Cortland Sutton at number 23. And the only reason I had him above Brandon Cooks was because of the quarterback difference. Yeah, expect Cortland Sutton to get a lot more targets this season around. Yeah,
That's the only thing. I'm just waiting on Cortland Sutton to get some more targets so I can have him in my list.
Should we get into our number 22?
Yeah,
Cameron?
I'll just start it. I got Jalen Waddle at number 22.
Okay, I also have Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, and I put him lower. I was looking at lists online. They had him inside the top 20. I had him lower because with the addition of Tyreek, I expect them to do things with Tyreek that they were doing with Jalen Waddle last year.
Yeah.
Now,
Force feed targets.
yes, they did make additions to their offensive line.
Yeah.
And people talk about Tua not being able to throw the ball downfield.
Better offensive line.
I want to see him get some protection first before we can, set that in stone. If he's able to get better protection and Tyreek's able to be that deep threat, then of course Jalen Waddle's going to sneak in there.
And not to mention, Tua was dealing with that finger injury for a lot of last season.
That as well, yeah. But based off what we've seen and what we know about the Dolphins, yeah, I had to put Jalen Waddle lower than what he's projected.
So
he might sneak in there though. He might move up.
Yeah, he can definitely move up.
Mm-hmm.
So with the addition of Tyreek Hill and the moves that the Dolphins have been making, a lot of people have been coming out here and slandering Tua. They're saying, how is Tua going to get the deep ball to Tyreek Hill? How's he going to throw the deep ball to Jalen Waddle? And those people are not really thinking with their football minds. Those guys watch Patrick Mahomes throw the ball 60 yards down the field to Tyreek Hill.
Why can't Tua do that?
So that's not what they're going to be doing at all.
It's
this is going to be
bro.
a very 49ers like offense
where
they're going to be manufacturing touches to get the ball in the hands of their playmakers. They have two speedy players. They're going to be making the job easier on Tua, throwing a short slant or a drag or something. Just get the ball in the hands of these playmakers and let them do their thing from there.
To be honest,
and so expect Tua to run out of the pocket for 10 seconds and then just chuck 50 yards to Tyreek Hill. That's not what's going to be happening.
The only time he's going to run out of the pocket if it's a rollout.
This is not going to be like the Chiefs where Tyreek Hill is just making something out of nothing. It's not going to be like that.
And I think that's a good, you mentioned it's going to be a 49ers type offense. Well, Mike McDaniel came from the 49ers organization. So I would expect some of that to be thrown into their offense.
So who's your 22?
I have Amari Cooper at number 22. Okay. I'm a little bit lower on Amari Cooper than you guys.
Yeah, as you'll see later.
You see, here's my only worry. If Deshaun Watson misses 4 or 5
many games?
I worry that Amari Cooper is just going to fall to what he did with the Cowboys. He's just going to fall into averageness again.
Who did they sign? Because they signed a backup quarterback in free agency.
Did they?
They did. I want to say it might have been Jacoby Brissett.
I'll give you my 21 real quick. Okay. I have one, Michael Thomas. So Michael Thomas is a great playmaker. He runs crisp routes almost every single time he's out there. But here's the injury that he's dealing with. Ankle injury. Which hinders your running ability more than you'd ever expect.
You can't cut.
You can't cut. Yeah. You can barely. It's hard to pivot.
And what's the Saints' offense? It's a lot of comeback routes. It's a lot of curl routes. It's a lot of
It's a spacing.
It's a space.
It's a spacing. And that's my only issue about Michael Thomas. His route tree is a lot of stuff that takes a little bit of a toll on your ankles. But here's the thing. I do like Michael Thomas for this reason, though, because Jameis Winston is a little bit, like I was telling the boys a little bit earlier, he tends to look down one receiver throughout when he's playing. If Michael Thomas is his primary receiver, you better believe that he's going to throw the ball to Michael Thomas no matter what the situation is.
He is going to get targets.
He is going to force it.
He is
because maybe that's what Michael Thomas needs. He just needs the ball to be forced to him to get the ball in his hands and make plays. And with Jameis Winston
that's what happened when he was literally the number one wide receiver a couple years ago. And he was he had the most targets in the NFL, not even close.
I believe he set the record for most receptions in a season. Okay.
I'm a lot higher on Michael Thomas, but I can see, if you're looking at it, Jarvis Landry they signed, and they also drafted Chris Olave out of Ohio State in the first round. So that could be them kind of being all right, maybe Michael Thomas isn't as close to ready as we might have thought.
Yeah.
So they're loading up on wide receivers. Okay. My my number 21 is Mike Williams. He was the top 12 wide receiver last year. He had a great season, his best season of his career. I'm a little bit lower on him this season, but he's still wide receiver 2. Obviously he's literally a top contested catch wide receiver in the league. He's on a great offense, great quarterback. I think he's going to continue his great performances.
And I have Mike Williams at number 20.
Did you list your 21?
I have AJ Brown at number 21.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Bro,
Okay.
I
I
don't
know.
have-
I'm thinking that might be a little low.
Yes,
that might be a little low.
I don't want to spoil it, but I have AJ Brown like a lot of
Top
spots
12,
higher than
I
that,
have him in
you
top
know?
12.
Yeah. Crap. Maybe I should have.
But it's alright.
Yeah.
I just want to say this about Mike Williams. Like Sterling was saying, great contested catch receiver.
I should have put him
All-
at least
all
on
of the
20.
way. And I feel like it doesn't really matter what Mr. Keenan Allen is doing in the offense because they throw the ball 45 times a game. So give me a little synopsis of why you have AJ
Yeah,
Brown.
why do you have AJ Brown so low?
I wasn't thinking straight. I just switched him. I put Chris Godwin at 21.
And
Okay,
where'd you have
Godwin.
Because
Godwin before?
I had Godwin at 20, and
Okay,
so
I probably should put AJ Brown at 18 if I'm being honest with you.
I have AJ Brown not even on here because he's in my top 12.
Yeah, I agree.
Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
man, I forgot.
I'll get into my number 20.
The Eagles got
My number
better.
20 is Chris Godwin. I don't really think I need to get into much of it. We already kind of covered Chris
Yeah,
Godwin, but
yeah.
I have him at 20.
I'll tell you my number 19.
19.
Okay, go ahead.
So I have Jalen Waddle. I'm definitely a lot higher on Jalen Waddle than you guys, and that's because I had him on my team last year.
Yeah.
And I know what he can do, but my only worry is that he does lose some targets because of Tyreek Hill.
Yes.
And that's practically my only worry about Jalen Waddle because I think personally he'll be just fine. He'll get his targets, he'll get his chances, but it's whether he makes enough out of those chances that he gets. That's my only worry is he gonna do enough with the touches that he gets?
My number 19 is Marquise Brown.
Okay.
Marquise Brown had a great season
All right,
last year,
boys.
the best season of his
You do
career.
your thing. I'm gonna use the restroom.
Alright. Obviously been traded to the Cardinals, where for the first 6 games, DeAndre Hopkins is not going to be there, so he is the number 1 wide receiver for that time span. And I love that because he's playing with this college quarterback, Kyler Murray. They already have a relationship. They already have a rapport with each other. This offense is perfect for Marquise Brown because on the Ravens, with a run-first offense, he was a 1,000-yard receiver, where the wide receivers weren't really that much of a focus on that team.
Yeah.
And now he's on the Cardinals with this air raid offense where they're going to air the ball out. They're going to be throwing it deep to him. So I really, really, really like this situation for Marquise Brown. He was a wide receiver 1 last year, finished in the top 12. I have him at 19, which is a little bit of a drop, but I love this situation for Marquise Brown. Who do you have at 19?
I had Terry McLaurin at 19.
Okay.
I can understand if you have him higher, but I don't know. I thought about it. Will he benefit more with Carson Wentz? And I thought it's probably just going to be more of the same. He's a reliable receiver. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think there's going to be a.
Where did you have Terry McLaurin?
I had him at 19.
And then while you were gone, my 19 was Marquise Brown.
Yeah, at number 18, I do have DJ Moore. Where do you have DJ Moore?
I had him up at 23.
Oh yeah, you had him at 23.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily worry about DJ Moore a whole lot.
Yeah.
Will Sam Darnold be able to do anything at all maybe this season?
That's the
yeah.
question.
Will he be able to
Like
do
anything at all?
At all. And if there's no quarterback holding him down, then my worry is that he's not going to perform that well.
Yes. My number 18 is Amari Cooper. So Amari Cooper is now on the Browns, where he's the wide receiver 1 for that team. He's going to have Deshaun Watson after his suspension because they signed Jacoby Brissett kind of in anticipation that Deshaun Watson's going to miss games.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett has been a starting quarterback before. He's experienced.
Dolphins.
Obviously, he's not great,
Right.
but he's a serviceable guy to come in, and he's respectable.
Yeah.
Who did you have at 18?
I had DJ Moore at
Okay.
18. Yeah. About there. Yeah, because the big question is, can Sam Darnold...
Yeah.
I'm looking at this list. I should just put A.J. Brown above Terry and DJ.
You want to do your number 17, Kenwood?
I got Michael Pittman Jr. at 17. I think he can benefit more, even at this stage in Matt Ryan's career. I think he benefits more with Matt Ryan than Carson Wentz. Just
I
'cause-
have him a lot higher than that.
I also did.
yeah,
I have Michael Pittman a little bit
Yeah.
higher based on what we saw towards the end of the season from him last year.
Yeah.
He really, truly had a
Popped off.
breakout. And so with a perceived upgrade at quarterback, team's going to be a little bit better.
yeah,
I think he's going to break out into the upper echelon. So
yeah.
I don't even have him on this list. He's a little bit higher for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Remember-
my 17 was Deontay Johnson. He's a really consistent wide receiver. He's not going to have a lot of those super crazy games,
Right.
but he's going to get targeted. He's going to be the wide receiver 1.
That's what he's known
He's
for.
going to be super hyper consistent, catching mainly everything,
Yeah.
and that's why I have him at 17.
I have him at number 15 just to the amount of pure targets that he gets
Yeah.
a game.
Who is your
Yeah, you're 17.
Marquise.
Okay,
Okay,
Marquise Brown.
yeah.
Makes sense. So number 16, I have Terry McLaurin.
I also have Terry McLaurin in that spot.
I have Amari Cooper at 16, based off the potential he could have with Deshaun Watson at quarterback.
Okay.
My number 15, we already touched on this guy a little bit earlier in the video, is Michael Thomas.
Yes.
I have him this high just because I feel like the last time we saw Michael Thomas playing football, he was a top receiver.
He was.
And even though he has missed a year and he still has lingering ankle
Yeah.
issues, I'm still going to have him sort of in the upper echelon of these wide
Uh-huh.
receiver
Yeah.
twos.
I have him at 15 as well. We discussed the negative with Michael Thomas.
But there's a lot of positives.
Yes, and I think where you place him on this list is whether or not you're optimistic about the return or not. If you place him lower, you're thinking, okay, the ankle injury is going to have a great effect on him. But if you place him higher, like we did, you're thinking he's going to come back and he's going to be able to shoulder the load in terms of receiving,
Well,
like he did.
to be honest,
Or he'll be able to shoulder most of the load with Jarvis Landry being an addition to the team, and he'll be able to be very productive.
Number 14 for me is DK Metcalf.
I also have him at 14.
Okay, I'm glad we're agreeing on that one. DK Metcalf is an animal of a player.
Yes.
The only thing that makes him this low on the list is now Drew Lock is his
Drew Lock is
quarterback.
his
So there's
quarterback.
going to be question marks there.
Yeah.
Drew Lock is going to be able to get the ball in Metcalf's hands. So obviously Metcalf is not going to be terrible for fantasy. He's probably not going to have those monster games like
Fact.
Right.
we've seen him have.
Number
Who's
13.
your 14?
DK.
Oh, 14.
Okay,
Okay,
DK.
we all
okay.
agree.
For the same reason, yeah.
Okay.
Drew Lock, significant downgrade.
Number 13, our final guy on this list.
I have one. I'm gonna put T. Higgins in this spot.
That's what I got.
So T. Higgins is in a super expansive offense.
Yes.
They're always throwing the ball. They're always finding the open target. And if you want the truth, that's because of Joey B.
Joey B.
And that's what it
Yeah.
comes down to. Joey B is just
Yeah.
that guy. I wanted to have T. Higgins a little bit higher, but at the same point, my conscience is just kicking me and telling me like,
Yeah.
there's another player who deserves to be in that 11 spot. And you guys are just going to have to wait to see who that is.
Yeah.
I want to hear you on this one, Sterling. So number 13, go ahead.
I have Keenan Allen of the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yes.
I do like that.
Now, I have Keenan Allen at number 13. Coincidentally, he finished at number 13 last season
He
in
did.
the final points,
Rankings.
And he wears number 13.
and he does. I feel like to say that at this stage of his career, for him to jump up, obviously I could see it happening with circumstances,
Yeah.
but
It's just not as
he's not getting
likely.
better as a player.
No.
Now, he's still a very great player,
Yeah.
Indeed. yeah.
but
He's reached his ceiling.
having him at 13, a very, very high-end wide receiver too,
Yeah.
with the touches that he's going to be getting, the production, the offense that he's on, I think 13 is about where he's going to finish this season as well.
I think 13 is a very good spot for him. It's just Keenan Allen is at a point where, like Sterling was saying, he's not going to grow. He's not going to get faster. He's not going to really get stronger. He's really not going to get more crisp on his route running.
Like, he's a great wide receiver on a great offense, and having him at number 13, to me, that's exactly where he finished last season. For me to say that he's going to jump and raise in rank, there's no real basis to support that, in my opinion, unless other players in the top 12 get injured or something happens and they fall out. But him as a player, for him to get better, there's not really any base to that, in my opinion. So yeah, that's our list.
Yeah.
We all brought our own list to the table.
Yeah.
Wide receivers 24 through 13 for the 2022 season. Way too early rankings.
Yeah.
This was really good. We're coming pretty soon with our 1 through 12, our wide receiver 1s. This was the wide receiver 2s. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Make sure you go down below,
Have a
like
great day.
and subscribe. We're back. We're making bangers. Stay
Yes.
tuned for wide receivers 1 through 12.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And
do
then
that.
we're gonna be
Running
doing
backs.
tight ends. We're gonna be doing part 2 of running backs most likely. We're gonna be doing a whole bunch of draft content coming up. A whole bunch of everything fantasy football related. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We're out of here.